Hello and welcome everyone. Let's continue with the second session of animal husbandry. So before we start the session, just have a recap of the previous session. So in previous session, we were discussing about the basic terminology, which we are going to continue in today's session also. And in today's session, we will be covering this terminology part. And for tomorrow, we'll be starting the next session. And next session will be about estrus cycle and system of breeding. So in next session, we are going to discuss types of breeding as well as estrus cycle. But let me tell you, tomorrow will be 1st of October and 2nd October will be Dashera. So Dashera will be completely off from our side. So there will be no class on 2nd October. 2nd October is Dashera as well as Gandhi Jayanti. So no class on 2nd October, but classes will remain conducted on the same time for tomorrow. And after 2nd October, the same schedule will be followed on the 3rd October. So let's start with the session. So in the previous session, what we have discussed, we started with three terms: bull, bullock, and teaser. Bull was someone who is uncastrated, getting used for the breeding purpose in the dairy industry. So if it is a good breed, and that good breed of male will be used for the female, or just say for the mating purpose, so that female should not be castrated. So that male should not be castrated. So uncastrated male will be known as bull. Now the second, if I want to use the male for the transportation purpose or for the field work, so now that bull will be castrated, and once the bull is castrated, it will be known as bullock or also called as steer. Then third one is teaser. Teaser is a male animal which is used to detect the heat in case of female, and one specific process is followed in the teaser. Can you tell me the name of that particular process which we have discussed in the previous session? And I told you everything will run normally except the sperm formation. So the vein, which is vas deferens, will not be able to release the sperm into the semen. Rest everything will work same, and the process is known as vasectomy. So here vasectomy will be followed, and the one who is getting used to identify the heat will be known as teaser. So these three are male, but one is to detect the heat. Second is to use them for transportation or work purpose. And third one is for the breeding purpose. Then we have discussed about these five terms. First one is calf. Calf means a young animal which is not sexually mature. Till now, age of puberty is not received. So this young animal, if it is a female, known as heifer calf, and if it is a male, it will be known as bull calf. Once the heifer calf will attain sexual maturity, that female or female calf which will be attaining the sexual maturity will be known as heifer. And once the mating will be done and heifer will get pregnant, and in pregnancy, if the month is 5th month or after 5th month it is 6, 7 or 8, which is known as advanced stage of pregnancy. In advanced stage of pregnancy, that female will be known as springer. And once the pregnancy period will be completed, now the process will be done by the springer is known as calving. And after calving, the one who has given the birth, that female will be known as cow. So that means heifer and springer are sexually mature, but they had not given the calf till now. And in case of calf, it is a young animal, not sexually mature. And cow means it has gave the birth to a young one, and this will be known as mother. So mother will be known as cow. Next, we have discussed about two terms. One is nymphomania and second is free martin. So in case of female reproductive system, female has two ovaries, and in ovulation they will produce one ova, or say one ovum will be produced. Because that one ovum is produced, and to fertilize that egg, semen or sperm is compulsory. So that ovary will send the signal to the body so that the female will come in the heat. And once the female is in the heat, now the female is ready to receive the male. And once the mating will be done, semen will come inside, so fertilization can happen. But in case if ovaries are not functioning properly, so you will see that cow is oftenly in heat. So many times cow will show the symptom of heat without following the proper cycle. So that disorder will be known as nymphomania. And in case of free martin, if two, male and female, will be produced by the cow, male is normal but female is abnormal, female is sterile, and that female is showing the symptom of male, so that sterile female will be known as free martin. If the after calving, the calf who will be taking the birth, so the father of the calf, male parent of the calf will be known as sire, and female calf, female parent or say mother will be known as dam. Then gummer and gimmer means gummer is a old sheep, or it can be used for other animal as well. So gummer is a old sheep which is old in age but still showing good or excellent breeding performance. It is giving good number of lambs till now. So if it is giving a good excellent good performance or good breeding performance, so you will retain this breed or you will retain this animal in the flock. Because if it is not giving you good breeding performance, so this breed or this female will be removed from the group. But we are not removing it from the flock just because it is showing you good breeding experience or good breeding. So that means this female which is old in age but showing you good breeding, so it will be known as gummer. And the second one is gimmer. What is the meaning of gimmer? Gimmer means it is a female just getting sexually mature, but till now lambing is not done. First lambing is not over. So it is about to start the first lambing, or it is about to complete the lambing, but it hasn't given a birth to the lamb till now. So that young female will be known as, not young female, it is kind of transition phase from young to adult. So that adult female will be known as gimmer. And in case of deticking, delysing and deworming, deticking means removal of external parasite from animal, removal of external parasite from bird, and removal of internal parasite is known as deworming. So this is the part of yesterday's session. Now let's move forward and talk about the next topic or talk about the next terms. So as I told you, in today's session we are going to cover all these terms. So two terms we'll discuss right now. One is vellowing, second one is bellowing. What is the meaning of vellowing and bellowing? So these two terms seem similar, but yes, though both have different meanings. So first of all, bellowing. Bellowing means sound produced by the cattle. So have you seen any cattle? Of course, yes. If you have seen the cattle, so you know the sound produced by the animal. So that sound produced by the cattle is technically known as bellowing, right? So that sound produced by the cattle is known as bellowing. If cattle are hungry, or if cattle are in heat period, or cattle is in heat period, in that case you will see loud bellowing. Otherwise, if animal is normal, then normal bellowing will occur. Then what is the meaning of bellowing? Bellowing will be generally seen in pig as well as buffalo. So pig and buffalo are not comfortable when there is hot temperature, when there is more temperature outside. They cannot tolerate high temperature. In fact, even if you talk about the pig, so pig cannot tolerate direct rainfall. So along with the temperature, the pig even cannot tolerate direct rainfall. But right now, don't talk about the rainfall, just talk about the temperature. So pig and buffalo feel very uncomfortable when the temperature is high. So what they want to do, whenever they will see water around them, so they will sit inside the water, they will try to move inside the water just to make sure their thermal comfort of the body, right? So if they are getting thermal comfort, that means they are comfortable with the temperature, they will feel happy in the hot season, in the summer season. So this is why you will see pigs are always in the water or in the muddy area. And buffalo, if buffalo will enter inside the water, now buffalo don't want to come outside. The reason is buffalo doesn't have sweat gland on their body. Like when we feel hot, when we feel more temperature summertime, so what will happen? Our body will start producing sweating, and that sweating will help our body to keep it cool. So we have sweat gland. But in case of buffalo, buffalo doesn't have sweat gland, and second, buffalo has black color, so black color, so that black color will absorb more radiation. So in the summer season, buffalo or pig will feel more uncomfortable, very uncomfortable. This is why they want to go inside the water, and that habit of staying in the water in case of pig and buffalo is known as. So bellowing means in order to regulate the temperature and get rid of insect, the process of buffalo rolling in the water or mud, or same in case of pig, is known as bellowing, and sound produced by the cattle or buffalo is known as bellowing. Now talk about two terms, one is isolation and second one is quarantine. Isolation and quarantine both are same. You will have to separate the animal from rest of the herd because that animal has a disease. Sir, if both has same meaning, then why we have two words? Let me tell you. Quarantine, I think this word seems familiar because in 2020, when we were experiencing corona in all over the world, so if a person is returning from a city, from a village, or from somewhere else, so people were asking him to go for the quarantine period. So what is the meaning of quarantine period? So just take an example. If I am the member of your hometown only, and in corona period, I'm returning to hometown, so what people will say? Stay outside the village or stay at a building which is separated or away from the village. Just stay there for 7 to 14 days. Even I am healthy. I'm not having any kind of disease. Even I'm not suffering from corona. Then why are you asking me to stay away from the village? The reason is maybe I am not suffering from corona, but if the virus will enter inside the body, it will show the symptom after 7 to 14 days. So before the disease occur or before the disease show the symptom, if you are keeping the animal separate from the rest of the animal, that process will be known as quarantine. Even there is no symptom of disease right now, and even this is also possible that after 7 to 14 days of quarantine, there will be no disease symptom. That means the animal was completely healthy. But still you are doing it in the precautionary form, so you are keeping the animal away from the rest of the herd without any disease system, so that will be known as quarantine. Then what is isolation? Isolation means if you have a herd of animal, 5, 10, 15, 20 animals are there, and one animal is showing the symptom of a particular disease. Now if animal is showing the symptom of, just take an example, FMD. So if animal is showing the symptom of FMD, so now you will have to separate this animal from rest of the herd. The reason is, if you are not going to separate this animal, so this animal can spread the disease among other animal. So this separation of the animal after seeing the symptom of the disease will be known as isolation. So before appearance of the symptom or without any disease, it is quarantine, and after seeing the symptom, it will be known as isolation. So isolation is segregation of the animal if suspected to be affected with the disease. In case of quarantine, preventive isolation, it is not isolation, it is preventive. Before the disease, we are just taking precautionary measures. So preventive isolation period in which animals are kept separate to prevent the spread of the disease. Right, guys? Okay, so let's move forward. I hope you are clear about the four terms: bellowing, isolation, and quarantine. And if you face any kind of doubt, you can write anytime in the chat section. Okay, perfect. Let's move forward. And next, we are going to talk about first term only. First term is superovulation. And to understand superovulation properly, we should know what is the meaning of ovulation. What is the meaning of ovulation? When the ova or say ovum will be released from the ovary. So when this ovum is getting released from the ovaries, that process will be known as ovulation. So guys, can you tell me in the chat section, during the ovulation, how many ova or how many ovum will be released by the cow? How many ova? 1, 2, or multiple? See, if I'm asking about the answer, so what does that mean? Because you'll have to answer what is happening majority of the time. Because in case of cow, exception can be there, but generally, how many ova? Some people are saying 2 and some are saying 1. Why 2 is the answer? Why you are giving me 2 as the answer? Because there are 2 ovary in cow body. There are 2 ovaries in case of cattle. So if there are 2 ovaries, how many ova will be released? Sir, 2. No, 2 is the wrong answer, my dear friends. It will be 1 only. So 1 ova will be released, no 2. Then sir, what is the function of 2 ovaries? So don't ask these kind of questions. Not from me, from your mind. Don't confuse yourself. Because these silly logic can disturb your understanding. These silly logic can promote confusion in your mind. Like if you talk about the kidney, how many kidney we have? Sir, 2. Even if 1 kidney will remove from our body, so are we going to die? No, sir. Then what is the function of second kidney? So don't ask these kind of questions from yourself when you have less time, right? So 2 ovaries are there, but those 2 ovaries will release 1 ova only, right? So that 1 ova or release of 1 ova will be known as ovulation. This is the normal condition. Fine. Now, in case of animal husbandry, we have so many different technology. In those different technology, we have AI, artificial insemination, IVF, in vitro fertilization, cloning is there, and some other technology which we are using on experimental basis right now. If you talk about the AI is simply artificial insemination, and AI in animal husbandry is considered as most successful technology till now. But apart from AI, if we talk about the IVF, Do you have an idea what is the meaning of in vitro fertilization? What is the meaning of IVF? Let me tell you what is the meaning of IVF, guys. So when we talk about the IVF, IVF means in vitro fertilization. So that means if fertilization is not occurring inside the body, so we can do it in the lab. So just take an example. We have two animals. One is male and second one is female. And you are trying for the insemination. You want to make this animal pregnant, make this female pregnant, but it is not happening. Why? Because you are trying with the normal procedure. Normal procedure means male is covering the female. So this male, when covering the female, so now this female is not getting pregnant. So do we have any solution? Of course, if not getting pregnant, so you should try IVF. IVF is very common nowadays in case of human, but it is not very common in case of animal because this is costly technology. Even in case of human, they will charge 50,000 to 2.5 lakhs depending upon the tech or depending upon the location. So IVF is in vitro fertilization. So if male were releasing the sperm into the female reproductive tract, but it was not getting pregnant, so just do one thing. Take ova, or in simple words say egg. Take egg from the female and then semen from the male. Then in the laboratory, these semen and egg will fertilize. And once the egg is fertilized, now put the fertilized egg again back to the female animal. So this process will be known as IVF, in vitro fertilization. है ना? Only fertilization is happening outside. Rest everything will work same. Now why I'm telling you? Because the term was super ovulation. Guys, in super ovulation, now you need to know a word which is surrogacy. Do you know what is the meaning of surrogacy? Can you please say yes or no? Because in case of surrogacy, if it is a bilingual or Hindi medium batch, so I will give the example of Mimi movie. Because Mimi movie was based on surrogacy only, right? You are saying yes, so you know about the surrogacy. So let me tell you the story of Mimi movie. In that movie, a story of foreign couple was shown. That foreign couple came to India and asked to a lady for the surrogacy. Now what will happen? The same process like in vitro fertilization happens. So the doctor will take the fertilized egg. That fertilized egg is from that foreign couple only. But now that fertilized egg will be taken to someone else's uterus. So that means that second female which is offering the uterus on the rent, this will be known as surrogacy. So male and female cells or male and female part is taken from that couple only, but this second lady is just offering the uterus on the rent basis, or technically call it surrogacy. Now, why I'm telling you surrogacy? Because these words are related with superovulation. Now, come back to the concept and then I will explain you why I was giving you this example. So, guys, in case of superovulation, what was the meaning of ovulation? Ovulation means when egg is releasing from the ovary, but superovulation means it is a hormonal injecting technique. So what we do by giving hormone, we force the animal to produce multiple ova, to produce multiple eggs. So it's a technique to produce more eggs or embryo for the embryo transfer. Because if you'll think, sir, if more number of ova will produce, so how it will be possible for a female that it can support 10 calf inside the body? So it cannot support 10 calf inside the body. Only 10 ova will get produced. All those 10 ova are fertilized. Now that fertilized ova will be taken outside from the mother and it will be transferred to the another mother. Another mother, why, sir? Because that mother was not having the functional ovary. If functional ovaries are not there, that means it will not be able to produce ova, but it has functional uterus. So if we will place fertilized egg, it can give the birth to the calf, but it cannot produce its own egg. So by using a super ovulation technique, we can produce multiple ova, and those ova will be transferred to the another female. Now if ova is getting transferred to the another female, now we can relate it with the surrogacy. And if those ova are getting fertilized outside the animal body, you can relate this concept with the IVF, which is in vitro fertilization. So why we are doing super ovulation? Because if there is any abnormal female which doesn't have functional ovaries, so what we'll do, by using hormonal treatment to another female, we will take the ova from that female and those ova will be placed to the another female. I hope you guys are clear what is super ovulation and what is the function of super ovulation. Okay, somebody said kindly teach slow, sir. My dear students, just try to understand as per the instructions or as per the time. I'll have to complete all the syllabus within 1 month. In these 1 month, I have planned 8 sessions of animal husbandry, because if I want to cover everything within 1 month, so accordingly I'll have to reduce. So in standard classes, I take 16 classes of animal husbandry, but now I'll be taking 8 classes just to make sure that I am covering within the time. So I can go slow. I don't have any issue. Even I wanted to teach slow, but if I'll go slow, so I'll be covering the syllabus after the mains examination. I hope you are able to understand. I can take 16 classes. I don't have any issue. But if you'll see your mains examination, so this course will work like a crash course for you, right? Okay. Next word. So next we are going to discuss about two terms. One is monoparous, which is also called uniparous. And second one is polyparous, which is also called multiparous. What is the meaning of this? First is monoparous. Monoparous means if there are animals who are giving birth to one child at a time, will be known as mono or uniparous. Like cow, buffalo, they are mono or uniparous because cow in the calving will generally produce one calf only. But when we talk about the goat, pig or sheep, these animals used to produce more number of animal in one pregnancy, so they will be known as polyparous or multiparous. So a term monoparous, a term designating animal that usually produce only one offspring at each pregnancy. Horse, cattle, buffalo, they produce only one, that means they are monoparous. An animal that give birth to multiple offspring at a time called polyparous, like goat, sheep, dog, you can say, cat, you can say, even pigs. So they are polyparous animal because they will be giving birth to the multiple animal at a time. Next, we are going to talk about two terms. One is oviparous and second is viviparous. Oviparous means if a bird or if any animal will give birth to the egg, not directly birth to the animal. So egg laying creature are known as oviparous. So just take the example of chicken. So chicken has the ability to lay egg, but chicken is not having ability to produce chicken directly, right? So those who produce egg, they are known as oviparous. And opposite, like human. In case of human, do we produce egg? Of course, no. We used to produce the offspring directly. So animal giving birth to the offspring, they will be known as viviparous. So if they are producing directly animals, so they are viviparous, like cow, goat, sheep, all are viviparous. But when we talk about the bird, they are producing eggs, so that means they are oviparous. Okay, let's move forward. But before we move forward, I need a confirmation if you are clear about these 5 terms: superovulation, monoparous, polyparous, oviparous, and viviparous. And the one who was asking me to teach slow, I will request you, if you have any doubt, you can ask me to repeat the concept. I will repeat it for you. But I cannot slow down the process because that will take more than 8 lectures. And how I will cover the syllabus then before your examination. Okay, fine. Clear to all. Let's move forward. Now we are going to talk about the digestive system of the animal. And before we talk about the digestive system of animal, we should know about the different compartment located in the animal body. So before we discuss about the animal, we should know about our body, because our body again has same function. Like we take the food for the energy, animal also doing the same. I am teaching in the class right now. You are studying in the class right now. This is our production. In case of animal, they have production in the form of meat, egg, wool, or something else, or milk can be there. So for them, they need energy, and for energy, they need feed. So what happens in our case when we are chewing the food, and after chewing the food, it will go inside our stomach, and digestion will start immediately. Once the digestion has been done, now it will be moved forward and absorption process will occur. Absorption means when the body will absorb the nutrient from the feed taken inside. Now, once the nutrients are absorbed, now that food is kind of waste, and that waste will be removed from our body. Now, this is something which is happening in our body, but it is completely different in case of animal, right? Because in case of animal, there are two categories. One is ruminant animal, second is non-ruminant animal. So when we talk about the ruminant animals, so cow, buffalo, goat, sheep, these 4 are major animal of animal husbandry, and these 4 are ruminant animal. So when we talk about the ruminant animal, so ruminant animal have different concept. Like I said, when we are going to take the feed inside, immediately the digestion process will start. But in case of animal, they are not having single compartment of stomach. In our case, we have only single stomach, single compartment of stomach. So we are called as monogastric animal. Monogastric animals mean those who have one compartment of the stomach, so they can also be called as non-ruminant animal. But in case of cow, goat, sheep and buffalo, they are ruminant animal. So they have four different compartment of the stomach, or you can say they have different four division in the stomach. So those four compartment are divided into the sequence. First compartment will be rumen, second is reticulum, third one is abomasum, and third one is omasum, fourth one is abomasum. Can you repeat with me what was the first one, second, third, fourth? Yes, right. Rumen, reticulum, omasum and abomasum. What will happen in case of animal? Because when we take feed or food inside, we brought it outside again. Just take an example. If you realize that you should chew the food properly, but just when you were taking the food, you realize that I am not chewing the food properly, so I should bring the food outside and I will chew it again properly. Can we do this? You will say no, this is not possible in human. But in case of animal, this is possible, and they used to do this process only. So what will happen when you will take the buffalo, cow in the field? So they will simply bite the grass and they will take these grasses inside the first compartment. So that first compartment is rumen, है ना? So rumen is also the biggest compartment of the ruminant animal. So animal will take the food in the rumen. Temperature of rumen is 38 to 40 degrees centigrade, because it has 38 to 40 degrees centigrade temperature. So it is best temperature for the growth of microbes, or you can say it is the best temperature for the growth of bacteria, because bacteria or microbes can flourish in 35 to 40 degree temperature. So in rumen, temperature is 38 to 40, which is best suitable temperature for the microbe. So many bacteria are present in the rumen. Now, what is the role of these bacteria? These bacteria are available in the rumen for the fermentation of the food, not for the digestion. Fermentation is different, digestion is different. So those bacteria are in the food are in the rumen for the fermentation. And those bacteria will secrete an enzyme which is known as cellulase. What is the name of enzyme? Yes, cellulase. And cellulase will digest what component of the food? It is cellulose. So in rumen, no digestion will occur, but rumen will digest one substance of the food, that is cellulose. So why cellulose will digest in the rumen? The reason is cellulase enzyme, which is produced by the bacteria, is present in the rumen only, but rest digestion is not happening right now. Okay, fermentation has been done. And during the fermentation, can you tell me which gas will be released by the animal? During the fermentation process, which gas will be released by the animal? Yes, I know you will tell me you are going to tell me the right answer. And that gas is, of course, your name is Kavi Priya. And of course, right answer, it is methane. And do you guys know methane is a greenhouse gas? Of course, yes. So that greenhouse gas, which is methane, is released by the animal during the process of fermentation, is going into the environment. Greenhouse gases are depleting the ozone layer. Because of the ozone layer depletion, UV radiation is coming on the earth. Because of UV radiation, temperature is getting increased year by year, and that increase of temperature is known as global warming. So global warming because of increased temperature. Increased temperature because of UV rays. Why UV rays? Because of depletion of ozone. Why ozone depletion? Because of greenhouse gases. And from where greenhouse gases are coming? From so many sources, but from out of those so many sources, one source is animal, because in the fermentation process they are releasing methane. Now you are thinking, sir, why this process is important? The reason is, if you'll compare vegetarian with the non-vegetarian person, so non-vegetarian person are contributing more in the global warming, because year by year the demand for the meat is increasing in India, and with the increase of demand in the meat production, or say demand increase in case of meat, so because of increased demand we are rearing more animal, more fermentation, more methane, more greenhouse, depletion of ozone depletion, more UV, more temperature, global warming, right? So if you are a non-vegetarian, so you are contributing more to the global warming as compared to the vegetarian people, right? Okay, coming back to the point. So fermentation will be done. Once the fermentation done, now the food will come back into the second chamber. That second chamber is known as reticulum, and from reticulum it will go again into the mouth. It is going into the mouth, and animal will start re-chewing, because earlier little bit of chewing was done, but now the animal will start re-chewing. Once the re-chewing or saliva is mixed with the food, and food is divided into small particles. Now food will go back where, sir? Into third compartment. Now the food will not go into the rumen. Now the food will go back into the third compartment, which is known as omasum. Omasum will absorb the moisture from the food, and once the omasum had taken the moisture from the food, now the food will move into the fourth compartment, which is known as abomasum. Till now I haven't used the word digestion, because digestion is not happening in first three compartment, but this fourth compartment, which is abomasum, also known as true stomach. So this abomasum, which is also known as true stomach, so this true stomach will start digestion process. So from this organ onward, from this compartment onward, digestion process will start, and once the digestion will done, it will move to the small intestine. So nutrient will be absorbed, and once nutrient has been absorbed, now it will move to the large intestine, and from large intestine, from rectum, it will go outside, because the food, nutrition from the food has been absorbed. So that means digestion process, absorption process is over. So that part which is waste will come outside in the form of cow dung. Right, guys? If you were able to understand this, then you have noticed that animal are swallowing the food into the rumen, and then the food is coming back into the mouth, and then animal are re-chewing it. After the re-chewing, not after the re-chewing, during the process of re-chew, they are mixing the saliva. Once the saliva is mixed, re-chewing is done, they are swallowing it again, because initially it was swallowed and went to the rumen, but now they are re-swallowing it, right? Okay, so these whole process of re-swallowing, re-chewing, re-mixing of saliva is known as rumination. Rumination, the whole process, the complete process where the cow chew the regurgitated feed. What is the meaning of regurgitated feed? That cud means which is coming from the rumen, because inside it is going feed, but after the fermentation from the rumen, technically it will known as cud. So the complete process where the cow chew the cud, mixed it with the saliva, and then swallow it again for the further digestion. So that whole process, which whole process? That whole process of taking feed inside, coming back to the rumen, coming back to the mouth, and then going back, this whole process is known as rumination. Now, rumination involves 4 different steps. Those 4 different steps are 1, 2, 3, 4. Can you read these 4 steps, guys? What is the name of first one? Second, third, fourth. Okay, let's discuss. So first says regurgitate. What is the meaning of regurgitate? When the food is coming back from the rumen toward the mouth, it is coming, right? So when the food is coming from rumen toward the mouth, this process is known as regurgitate. So cast up undigested feed from the rumen or say stomach to the mouth as done by ruminant. So now the food is coming back. First step. Second, remastication. So thorough chewing of the cud. So now when the food will reach into the mouth, animal will start re-chewing it. So thoroughly chewing will be done by the animal, and what is getting re-chewed? It is cud, because initially it was feed, but when it is coming back from the rumen, we will call it cud. Second part is done. During the remastication, guys, remastication means re-chewing of the cud. So during the remastication, re-insalvation was getting done. Re-insalvation means mixing of the saliva. Process of saliva being secreted again when regurgitated food comes back to the mouth. Now the whole process is over. Now the animal will swallow the chew balls again. So now, not chew, yeah, those chewed balls will swallowed again. So that re-swallowing process will be known as re-deglutition. So re-deglutition means again swallowing it, re-insalvation, mixing the saliva, remastication, chewing of the cud, regurgitated, coming back from the rumen toward the mouth, and this whole process is known as. So this is something which make the ruminant animal different from human or different from non-ruminant animal. Just need a confirmation from your side. If it is clear, type a Y in the chat section. If you have doubt, ask any of your doubt right now. Clear, 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 clear. Thank you so much. No doubt. Let's move forward. Okay, so next we are going to talk about some periods like gestation period, lactation period, dry period, and the next one is service period. What is the meaning of gestation period? It is very simple. Actually, gestation period is pregnancy period. So that pregnancy period is an English word, but in animal husbandry, technically we call it gestation period. But before we move forward, somebody asked me a question to repeat the last one. Okay, I will repeat it for you, then we'll move forward. In rumination, there are 4 steps. First one is regurgitate. Regurgitate means when the curd is coming back from the rumen toward the mouth. First. Second, remastication. Remastication means re-chewing of the food. Now the animal will start re-chewing the food which is known as curd. While the animal is re-chewing it, at that time saliva will get mixed in the animal's mouth. That will be known as re-insalvation. When this process is over, re-chewing is done, saliva has been mixed. Now the animal will swallow the food again. Re-swallowing. That re-swelling of the food is known as re-deglutition. Swallowing the chewed bolus again. Swallowing the chewed food back to the stomach in the third compartment is known as re-deglutition. Is it clear now? Shilpa, give me a confirmation. Okay, fine. Thank you. Okay, let's move forward. So what I was saying, in case of gestation period is simply a pregnancy period. Pregnancy period, like in case of human, it is 9 months. In case of cow, it is again almost 9 months. But if we go with the strict number, so that will be 282. So in case of cow, pregnancy period is 282 days. In case of buffalo, 310 days. And in case of goat and sheep, it is almost 145 to 150 days. In case of pig, it is 114 days. In case of camel, it is 390 days. So this is happening. The period, pregnancy period is different in different animal, and that pregnancy period technically known as gestation period. If you remove the word period, so gestation means when the embryo, when the calf, when the fetus is getting developed into the uterus, so that developmental process is known as gestation, and the period or duration taken in that developmental process is known as gestation period. So gestation period, it is a period of developing inside the womb between conception and birth. Conception means first day of pregnancy. First day of fertility is known as conception, and birth means it is last day. So first to last day in case of cow, it will take 282 days. So those 282 days are pregnancy period, which is known as gestation period. So this gestation period is applicable to any group of animal. It is applicable to small animal, large animal, ruminant animal, non-ruminant animal, because every animal will produce their kids, and if they are producing kids, they will have to follow gestation period. Now next two are interrelated. One is lactation period and another one is dry period. And before we talk about it, I just wanted to ask a question. Two questions are there. You will have to answer in yes, no form only. First question is very simple. Question is, when the cow will give the birth to the calf, so cow will start milking immediately after giving the birth to the calf. Yes or no? Now I'll say yes, sir. Obviously, lactation will start immediately after giving birth. That is correct answer. Second question. Please think before you answer this second question. Second question is, when the animal is pregnant, during the pregnancy, they will produce milk? Yes or no? During the pregnancy, they will produce milk. Yes. Okay. So few students said no, few said yes, and two students said yes up to certain duration. That's right. In pregnancy, animal will produce milk. In pregnancy, animal will not produce milk. So in the end of the pregnancy, last 2 to 3 months, when the end of pregnancy. So just take an example. If the pregnancy started today and this is first month, so in first month animal will give you milk. In first, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, and up to this animal will give you milk. But in seventh, eighth, or ninth month of pregnancy, now animal will not give you milk. So in the end of pregnancy, they will not offer you milk. But in the initial stage of the pregnancy, obviously milk production will be there. So if someone will ask you, or in any related question can ask in the examination, so during the pregnancy milk will come, but in the end of pregnancy there will be no milk. When the milk is coming, it is known as lactation period, and when animal is not giving you milk, it is known as dry period, right? So lactation period means immediately after giving birth to the calf, the milk production will start. That is lactation period. Now that lactation period, in case of days, this will vary from animal to animal. Like if you have a desi cow can give you milk in the range of 180 to 240 days. Once the cow will start giving milk, it can give you milk from 180 to 240 days. If you have crossbreed can give you milk for 240 to 280 days. And if you have good breed, cross, exotic breed or good breed, so they can give you milk for more than 300 days. So, sir, what to answer in the examination? So, standard lactation period is considered as 305 days. And what is the meaning of lactation period? This indicates the duration or the time when the female animal produces the milk after giving the birth to the new one. This period also vary from animal to animal, because this period is for the cow, but this will vary from animal to animal. Example, cow lactation. Sorry. Cow lactation period is different from goat sheep lactation period, right guys? So lactation period means they are giving you milk, and that lactation period will be for 305 days. Once the lactation period is over, now animal will stop giving you milk. When the animal stops giving you milk, that stage will be known as dry period. This is the period after the lactation during which animals does not produce any milk. And standard, if we talk about the ideal dry period, that should be 60 to 75 days. Like 305 days are for lactation and 60 to 70 days are for dry period. But as I was saying, lactation period is different in different animal. In the same way, dry period will also be different in different animal. But you just need to learn 60 to 75 days for dry period and 305 days for lactation period. Lactation period means milk period, and dry period means there is no milk. Okay, now next one is service period. But before we understand service period, I just wanted to ask a question. If this is first month of pregnancy, days are going on, and this is the last month of pregnancy. Last month of pregnancy, today the days are over and calving has been done. When the cow is pregnant, for that 282 days, in those 282 days, cow will not show you the symptom of heat. Cow is not going to show you the symptom of heat. But once the cow will give the birth to the calf, now again it will start giving you the symptom of heat. Heat means when the cow is ready for the mating. So when the calving will be done after 282 days, so within few days you will see that cow started giving you heat period. So in this heat period, when the animal is again ready for the mating, so please tell me guys by saying yes or no, immediately after the calving, the first heating given by the animal, are you going to proceed with the mating at this first heat period? If you will say yes, then it is okay. But if you are going to say no, then I need the reason. Why no? Animal is in heat. Why no, yaar? We should proceed with the mating so that animal can produce the offspring at early stage. Why you are saying no? Yes, of course. You are saying no. The reason is you want to convey that, sir, animal need rest. Because it's not a machine, sir. Even machine also need rest. So if animal will give birth to the calf, so give them a rest. Okay, tell me for how many days I should give the rest? 1 day, 2 day, 3 day. Sir, 1 day, 2 day, 3 day means heat will not come again. At least we'll have to follow 60 to 90 days, right? So 60 to 90 days you will have to follow in case of resting period. Now come back to the term service period. So it is the period between the date of calving and date of successful pregnancy. So date of calving to successful pregnancy, the period which we were discussing, that is service period only, and the cattle, for cattle optimum service period is 60 to 90 days. Okay, again, before I move forward, I need a confirmation from you. Are you guys clear about these four terms: gestation, lactation, dry, and service period? These are important terms, guys. Every year, IBPS, AFO, and RRBSO are asking questions from these topics. Perfect, you are clear. Let's move forward. Next two terms are there. One is service and another one is conception. So like we are talking about, when we talk about cattle, so in case of cattle, what I am saying, when the animal will come in the heat, so next process will be mating. Now, instead of calling mating, because mating is an English word, technically in case of cattle, it will be known as service. So service means this term indicates the process in which mature male covers the female. Don't get confused there with cover word, right? When male will mount on the female, when male will try to pregnant the female, so that is known as mating, but technically it is known as service. Next word is conception. What is the meaning of conception? Okay. Conception meaning, say yes or no. For what? If the mating or if the service is done today because the cow was in heat, so is there any guarantee that after the mating cow will be pregnant? Is there any kind of guarantee? Yes or no? Of course no. There are chances, 60 to 70% chances are there that animal will get pregnant, but there is no guarantee. Fine, okay. So if mating was done today, if service was done today, and this service is successful, successful service means animal is pregnant, so that successful union of the male and female is known as conception. So conception is a measure of a cow's fertility at service, means at mating, or successful union of the male and female in the reproduction process, because union can be done, but in union you cannot guarantee. But when you're using this word successful, so successful means you are giving it a guarantee, right? So it's a kind of guarantee that in case of conception the animal is pregnant. Okay guys, if I'll take the example of exotic cow and second one are desi or say indigenous cow, so if 100 exotic cow and 100 desi cow are in heat and mating for all these cow have been done, can you tell me which will show more pregnancy or more fertility rate? Is it exotic or desi? Because in case of exotic or desi, desi cow will show you 50 to 70% fertility, means out of 100, 50 to 70 will get pregnant. But in case of exotic, 60 to 80% successful rate will be shown. So that means exotic will show you more conception rate. Clear? Okay, let's move forward. Next term. So next few terms are there, and first and second was related. So first one is sling calf and second one is bobby calf. What is the meaning of sling calf? Sling calf is something which is abnormal, which is a rare condition. Because in general scenario, when the animal will get pregnant, it will give the birth to the calf. But if animal is immature, if the animal is weak, if the animal is not ready to conceive, if the animal was not given proper service period, so if you are forcing the animal, so there are chances that the embryo will die inside the uterus, or there are chances that anyhow premature birth will be taken by the embryo, so premature calf will come outside, but it will die after taking the birth. So if the calf which is dead before getting born, or it will die shortly after the birth, so that calf will be known as sling calf. Second word is bobby calf. What is the meaning of bobby calf? When we talk about bobby calf, so bobby calf means a male calf which is under the age of 6 months. So it is under the age of 6 months and separated from its mother. Can you tell me why this calf which has less than 6 months of age, why this calf is separated from its mother? Because there is a specific process which is known as weaning. In weaning, we used to separate the calf from the cow and feed them artificially so that calf can shift from liquid diet to solid diet. Because milk is liquid, but we are going to offer solid. So we used to proceed with the weaning. We used to remove the calf from the mother and we used to start their solid feeding, or we used to start them feeding artificially. So that process is weaning. But my original question was why we are forcing this 6 months calf, or why we are forcing this calf to get separated from the mother? What is the purpose, guys? No one is able to answer. Nivedita is saying conception. Next person said breeding. Third guy said for sale. Guys, I'm asking about answer, not asking you to give me 5 options, because everyone is typing different answer. So if 5 will give me the answer, so I have 5 options to choose the right answer. Yeah, see, I have 5 options now. Conception, breeding, for sale, for heat, next conception. Okay, so I will choose one answer. So right answer is for slaughter. Do you know what is meaning of slaughter? Of course, when we cut the animal for the meat purpose, so we used to slaughter that animal. And sir, why we are slaughtering this animal under the age of 6 months? The reason is at this time meat is soft, because cow meat is known as beef, but the meat of calf is known as, I think again this is easy question and you can immediately ask, tell me in the chat section. Meat of the calf is known as what? Yes, right, guys. Meat of the calf is known as veal. So veal is different. Beef is different. If you need veal, you will have to separate the calf, which is 3 to 6 months of age, and that forceful separation from the mother, so that calf will be known as bobby calf. Next term is weaning, but weaning is something where we are not forcing the calf. Weaning is something, in weaning we are gradually separating the calf, है ना? Every day, like in case of a human, this is also happening, है ना? If I will remember my childhood days, so I was not ready to go to school, but my father said no need to study, just go play in the school and come back, and I started going to school like this only. Within few days my father handed over a notebook or book which was having so many images. He said no need to study, just see the images, right? So I started saying, hey, oh, this is apple, this is bowl, like this. And after that, those images were getting reduced and content was increasing. And then father said, beta, if you want to get successful, you will have to study. I can remember in 10th class, my father said to me, this is the final year. If you study properly in the 10th class, you'll be making a bright career. And by believing these words, I worked very hard in 10th class. But my father repeated the same sentence in 12th class. Beta, if you study hard, your future will be bright. I realized, okay, yaar, once again I should try. But now when I went in the college, my father, when I was living for the agriculture college for BSc AG, my father repeated the same sentence, and now I'm not going to believe him. The reason is he's repeating the same sentence every year. So he said, beta, these 4 years are very important. In these 4 years, you can make your career or you can spoil your career. And inside, I was like, I want to spoil my career, because in 10th you said the same, in 12th you said the same. Now I'm not ready to study. And I think this is happening with every person who is going for BSc Agriculture. So maybe college is good or maybe college is bad, but no one is studying in graduation. And they will study during the semester exam only. And even if you people will study in BSc Agriculture, then who will take admission in Agri Coaching Chandigarh? And so that is good if you are not studying in graduation. Let's come back to the point why I was giving this example. The reason is they shifted us in the education gradually. Initially, it was play only. After that, so many images. So it was like a fun. But now try to understand. Can you see the fun anywhere? No. But we are shifted gradually. In the same way, when we want to shift the calf from liquid diet to solid diet, so gradually we will shift it to the solid diet. So day by day we will separate it from the mother. For the first day, just separate for 1 hour, next day 2 hours, few hours, and 24 hours, and then permanently separated. So that separation of the calf from the mother is known as weaning. Right, next word. Next word is culling. So if I have a herd of animal or flock of birds. So just take an example for bird. Out of 5,000 bird I am having in poultry, one bird is there which seems affected with a disease. What should I do? Should I go for the medication? or should I separate this bird and immediately this bird should be killed? Sir, separate this bird and this bird should be killed, because in medication it will be costly, it will be time taking. At that time this bird can spread the disease to the other, but the best solution is to kill the animal. So when you are removing the bird or animal from the group because they are undesirable, they are unproductive, or they are diseased, so that forceful removal or killing them from the herd or group is known as culling. So removal of undesirable, unproductive, or diseased animal from the herd or flock is known as culling. Next two words are interrelated. One is casting and second word is tethering. And if you can remember my previous class, while I was showing you the video of castration, so I was telling you that castration is a painful process. You will have to control the animal, so you'll have to tie the animal by using a rope. So what you guys do when you want to control the animal, so you have to tie the animal like this, right? So all over the body rope will be there like this. So this process, when you are controlling the animal by using rope, is known as casting. And this process, when you are putting a rope or chain in the neck just to make sure or just to limit the boundary in case of area, so if you are giving the stall feeding, so it is eating in the shed, so there will be small chain. And if you are allowing the cow to graze in the feed, so there will be large chain, so that periphery can be increased. So this controlling of the animal by using a rope is known as tethering. And this controlling of the animal by using rope like this is known as casting. So casting is throwing down the animal, throwing down but carefully, throwing down the animal and securing their legs. Legs means limbs, for the various purpose. Like if you want to do surgery or castration or hoof trimming or maybe hair cutting, like shearing can be done. So in that process, if it is painful, animal will not allow you to do this. So you'll have to tie the animal with the rope from all the part of the body. That process is known as casting and tethering. It is the practice of restraining a cow to a fixed object such as a post or stall using a rope or chain, right? So here you can see this cow is having rope. So now if cow want to move in this area, yes, it can move, but to a limited area depending upon the length of the rope. And in this scenario, we are controlling the animal. Now again, give me a confirmation if you are clear about slink, bobby calf, weaning, culling, casting and tethering. Okay. There's a doubt in the chat section and I will ask the same question from you. Somebody said, is weaning done immediately after the birth? Yes or no? No, this is not possible. Because if you will separate the calf from its mother immediately after don't understand this concept, yeah, just try to relate it with our mother. If when we took the birth, immediately separated from our mother, so do you think our mother will able to survive? Of course no. She'll be in depression, and in depression there will be hormonal imbalance, and because of hormonal imbalance so many things will happen. In case of cow also, if you'll separate the calf immediately after the birth, so cow will go in depression. Because of depression there will be hormonal imbalance, so maybe cow will not again come into the heat, cow will not get pregnant, or maybe everything will happen normally, but after giving birth to the next calf, cow will not be able to produce milk. So there can be so many abnormalities. This is why immediately after the birth generally weaning is not recommended, especially in case of desi cow. Somebody said when weaning is done, in 3 to 6 months, or this can be done in 1 to 3 months. Sir, what is the correct answer? There is no correct answer. The reason is weaning is something which is easy in exotic animal, but weaning is difficult in case of desi animal. Like we are studying this term in the lecture, but if you'll see the animal around you, so never experience this process like weaning. The reason is this process is not possible in the desi animal, because desi animal feel very attraction or say very affection toward their child, toward their calf. So it is not possible in desi animal. Even if you want to do this, can be done in the later stages after 3 months, but in case of exotic animal this is possible under 3 months. So there is not fixed age for the weaning process. Clear? Okay, somebody is asking me, what is the name of the term for feeding the animal for the purpose of breeding? That is known as flushing. There are two terms. One is known as flushing. Second one is steaming up. And don't worry, only ask doubt, which I am discussing in the class because I know what you will ask, right? So Shweta is asking me this term, and Shweta, I'm going to discuss it in next term only, right? So let's discuss about the steaming up term first, and then I will tell you about your question. Yes, of course, है ना? Somebody is trying to relate the desi animal and exotic animal with the desi mom and exotic mom. Of course, yes. If you'll see the foreign scenario, so what they say, once you attain the age of 18, so now you are independent. You should settle your career. But in case of Indian families, even if we are 28 and we are not settled, our family or our parents are very happy to help us, right? So exotic and indigenous, there is a lot of difference. Okay, let's move forward. So two terms we are going to discuss. One is steaming up, second one is flushing. So first is steaming up. What is the meaning of steaming up? When cow will give the birth to the calf, after giving the birth, milk production will start. Now, if I'll ask you that your cow will produce 10 liters of milk every day after giving the birth, but again, I'm telling you a way or a trick that you can increase the milk production from 10 liter to 12 liter. So if I will say which one do you want, so you will say obviously sir, tell me what can I do, because we want 12 liters of milk every day. Okay, so that trick is called steaming up. What you do is steaming up when the calving process is about to occur. So before 1 to 2 week of calving, whatever the feed you are giving, extra concentrate will be given to the animal. The feed, which just take an example, if you are offering 3 kilogram of concentrate every day, so these 3 kilogram will be given, but apart from those 3 kilogram, extra concentrate will be given to the animal just 1 to 2 weeks before calving. If you'll give them extra concentrate, what is the meaning of concentrate? Concentrate means you can say grains are concentrate, market feed is concentrate, oil cake like mustard oil cake, groundnut oil cake, these are also concentrate, and byproduct of the grain or byproducts are also concentrate, like molasses can be there, wheat bran can be there, these are again concentrate. So concentrate means less quantity, more nutrition. Okay, so guys, tell me, if I have a cow in my house and this cow will be giving the birth to the calf within next 14 days, and from today I'm going to give extra concentration, extra diet to this animal, so tell me guys, by giving this extra diet, is there any kind of possibility that this cow will increase the milk production after the birth? Of course, yes, there is possibility, है ना? And that extra diet which we are feeding to the animal just before the calving is known as steaming up. The practice of feeding higher level of concentrate to challenge the cow to reach her maximum milk production before calving. Now that maximum milk production can be 5 kg a day, can be 20 kg a day, है ना? So that depends upon the breed, but you are offering extra feed just to make sure that this animal will be able to give maximum milk production. So it is something like that you are watching my video on the YouTube just 2 days before the examination. I am telling guys, don't worry, you can do it. I know that you have the stamina, you have the capacity to qualify the exam. So this is something where I am trying to boost you, I'm trying to motivate you. In the same way, before the calving, you are giving extra feed just to make sure that animal will be able to give maximum milk production. So that extra feed before the calving will be known as clear. Next word is flushing. What is the meaning of flushing? Flushing is again extra diet, but now this extra diet or extra concentrate will not be given just before the calving. This extra diet will be given to those animals who can produce more than one offspring at a time. So when they are delivering the babies, so they can produce more than one. Like in case of pig, female of the pig is known as so can give birth to 6 to 12 calves at a time. Not calves, yeah, it should be piglet, right? So can give birth to the 6 to 12 piglets at a time. In case of sheep and goat, they can give birth to 2 to 3. So what we do just before the mating, so mating is something where we will mount the male animal with the female, and again that time when the animal will come in the heat, near to that time ovulation will occur. What is the meaning of ovulation? Release of the ova. Now if animal are producing more than one offspring, so guys, what do you think, one ova will be produced or multiple ova will be produced? If animal are giving more number of kids, So obviously multiple overproduction will be there. Now just take an example in case of pig. Female of pig can produce 6 to 12 piglets at a time. Now this is the time of mating. During the mating or near to the mating, this female will ovulate. Now just before the mating, just say again 1 to 2 weeks before. 1 to 2 weeks before, I will start feeding extra amount of nutrition so that there should be increase in the ovulation rate so that there can more overproduce within the body. Say yes or no. Is there any kind of possibility if before the mating I will give extra concentrate to the animal and that animal will be able to produce more ova? There is no guarantee. I'm asking about the possibility. Is there any possibility? You will say yes. So that extra feed you are offering to the female animal who can produce more than one birth or more than one kid at a time. So that extra feed before the mating will be known as flushing. Increase in the level of nutrition around breeding time, around mating, it will be known as flushing. Clear, guys? Okay. Next three terms are interrelated. One is hay, second is silage, and third one is haylage. To understand this, we will start with the silage. And to understand silage, we should know what we are offering to the animal in case of feed. What we offer them. When we talk about the feed, what we offer the animal: green fodder, dry fodder, and concentrate. Now those green fodder and dry fodder, when the green fodder is available in the season, is available in the field, because in case of agriculture, always season is important. Like in North India, if I want to grow paddy, I'll have to go with Kharif season. If I want to grow wheat, I'll have to go with the Rabi season. Without season, it is not possible to grow the crop. In the same way, we do have the availability of the green fodder in the field, but that is for limited time. So when you are not having green fodder in the field, so what you will offer to the animal? So when they are not having the feed, or when we are not having the green fodder in the field, so now what we will do? When we know that after this much of time or after these many days, fodder will be over in the field, so we will cut the fodder in advance. We will preserve the fodder, and that preservation of the fodder in the green form, in the moist form, is known as silage. So to understand silage in a proper way, you can simply learn the another name of silage. Silage is also known as animal's pickle. Do you have pickle in your house? If yes, then you know about the fermentation process, how we used to make the pickle. So we don't have green mango, or we don't have any other things which you are using for the pickle making. So like we used to eat the pickle of green mango. So we don't have the green mango availability throughout the year. So what we do when the season is there, we simply cut the green mango and we put them for the fermentation, and after that it will be ready for the pickling, or pickling will be done and pickle is ready. So green mangoes are, raw mangoes are not in the market, but we have green mangoes pickle all the time in the house. In the same way, you don't have green fodder, but you have silage in the preserved form. So silage, it's a green succulent roughage. What is the meaning of roughage? Roughage means those feed which you offer the animal in more quantity, but they have less nutrition. Because there are two categories in case of feed. One is roughage, second is concentrate. Concentrate means less quantity, more nutrition. Roughage means more quantity, less nutrition. Sir, if roughage has less nutrition, why we are offering the roughage to the animal? We should go with concentrate only. So see, every time whenever we are eating, it's not for the nutrition all the time. Sometimes it is to satisfy our appetite, satisfy our hunger. Like right now after my class, or after 1 or 2 hours at 8:30, 9 p.m., whatever the time of dinner, so you will feel hungry. There is no deficiency of nutrition right now in the body, so you feel hungry. This is why you need food. In the same way, we used to give the animal green or dry fodder which are more in quantity. That means they are roughage, because they are offering less nutrition. So why we are offering roughage to the animal? To satisfy their appetite. So it is green succulent roughage which is preserved under controlled anaerobic fermentation. Because for making silage, we used to pack the green fodder in the airtight bag. Airtight bag means there will be anaerobic condition. So it's a green succulent roughage preserved under controlled anaerobic fermentation in the absence of oxygen. Because if it is anaerobic, that means there is no air present, anaerobic absence of oxygen by compacting green chops in the air. Chops means those fodder is in chop condition, and watertight receptacles means those plastic bags are watertight, airtight. And this is important point, moisture content in silage, it is 65%. So if you are preserving green fodder, it is known as silage. Silage has 65% of moisture, and best crop for the silage making is maize. And can you tell me what should be the pH of best silage? While you're writing this in the chat section, let me tell you the process of making silage is known as ensealing, and where we used to store the silage is known as silo. And in case of best silage pH, it should be near to the 4. So generally it is written in the range 3.8 to 4.2. So average you can take 4. So 4 should be the pH. Silo is the structure where we used to store the silage. Process of making silage is known as ensealing, and best crop for silage making is known as maize, and moisture content in silage is 65%. So this was green fodder which we are preserving. But if you want to preserve dry fodder which has only 15 to 18% of moisture, so that dry fodder will be known as hay. Hay refer to cereals, grasses, legume that are harvested at appropriate state, but then they are dried, and after drying they have stored, and drying they have moisture of 15 to 18% only. So if 65% moisture, that means they are green. In green condition it is silage, but if it is dried and have 15 to 18% moisture, it is known as hay. And the last term is haylage. Haylage has a moisture of 45 to 50%. Haylage has a moisture of 45 to 50%. So in case of haylage, when we want to convert the green fodder into silage, but unfortunately, why unfortunately? Because in silage it is 65% moisture, but if the moisture is reduced to 45 to 50% green fodder, which is wilted, which is dried, wilt means dry, which is dried to 45 to 50% moisture, and then ensealing means process of silage making, then ensealed is considered haylage. Because if moisture will be 65% and ensealing is done, then you will call it silage only, but it is reduced to the moisture. So in case of moisture, when the moisture is less than 50 or 45 to 50%, it is haylage. 65% it is silage. 50 to 80% moisture, it will be known as hay. Need a Y in the chat section if you are clear about all terms: steaming up, flushing, hay, silage or haylage. Is it clear to everyone, guys? Say yes or no. Okay, let's move forward and talk about the last term, which is disbudding. What is the meaning of budding, guys? Of course, we know what is the meaning of budding. So buddy was a word which we used in childhood, because now after getting mature, we know that no one is our buddy. We'll have to secure our career. Those friends was just in the childhood. So flower bud, I'm just writing flower bud, and you will see flower bud means unopened flower is known as flower bud. So bud means when something something is at initial stage, that will be known as bud. When something is at initial stage, it will be known as bud. So in case of disbudding, what is the meaning of disbudding? When animal is in the young stage, 1 to 2 weeks of age, the horn will start coming outside. So till now no horns are there, but it will start coming outside. So at that time, if we'll stop the growth of the horn, it will be known as disbudding. That can be stopped by two methods. One is mechanical method, second is chemical method. In chemical method, you can use caustic potash. So if you rub the caustic potash over the area from where horns are coming outside, so that upper part of the skin will be removed, and when bleeding will start, that means the upper area which can promote the growth of the horn is removed, so there will be no horn growth in the future. This is something which is known as chemical method. But for mechanical method, we can use a electric dehorner. Electric dehorner will be used for the mechanical method. Electric dehorner will be heated up to 540 degrees centigrade temperature. When the rod or when the electric dehorner has 540 degrees centigrade temperature, now that hot rod will be placed to the area from where horns will come outside for a few seconds. So it will damage the growth or damage the growth of the cell, which makes the growth of the horn. So again, disbudding is done. So mechanical or chemical method can be used. Can you tell me which one will be considered as good method? It will be mechanical method or chemical method? Yes, it will be chemical method. Chemical method is considered as best method. Last 5 minutes I'm going to take. because we are left with last terms only, and after that this session will be over. I'm not going to discuss question today. We will be discussing question in the next session. But right now, just complete this term: mammogenesis, lactogenesis, galactopiesis, galactokinesis, and last one is involution. And as you can see, involution, IBPS AFO 23, and same question was repeated in 24. From galactopiesis, NABARD 24 asked the question. So these terms are very important. So talk about the first term, which is mammogenesis. Do you guys know what is the meaning of genesis? Sir, genesis means origin, starting of something. Of course, right? Like we used to study the origin in genetics. So genetics word is coming from genesis only. So genesis means formation, initiation, starting or origin of something. What is the meaning of mammo? Mammo means mammary gland. So in case of mammals, they have mammary gland. So when there is development of the mammary gland, because when the calf will take birth, at the time of the birth, when the calf is female, so there is no udder or teats. But after an age, there will be udder and teats which will show development. So when the mammary glands are getting developed, when the mammary glands are in functional stage, so that development of the mammary gland means mammary glands are originated, will be known as mammogenesis. So it is development of the milk gland to a functional state. Milk gland are functional, but they are not producing milk right now, because milk will come from the mammary gland once the calving will be done. So guys, mammogenesis has been done. Mammary gland are functional. After few times calving will be done. When calving will be done, now these mammary gland will start producing milk. When the mammary gland will start producing milk, it will be known as lactogenesis. Lacto means milk, genesis means started. So now the milk is started coming outside from the breast. Now the milk is coming outside from the mammary gland or from the teat. That process will be known as lactogenesis. Next one is galactopiesis. Guys, we talked about the lactation period. Can you tell me lactation period is for how many days? Because once the cow will start the lactation period, it will give you milk continuously for how many days? Sir, for 305 days. So cow will maintain the lactation for 305 days. So that maintenance of lactation is known as galactopiesis. And when you will press the breast, so like when milking process will be done, this is something which is known as knuckling method, and this is full hand method. So when we'll press the teats, milk will come outside. Ejection of the milk will be done by the breast or by the mammary gland. So that ejection is known as galactokinesis. I will come back to this point, but let's have a revision of these four terms. First term was mammogenesis, milk gland development. So this will be done from puberty to pregnancy. Puberty means sexual maturity, and pregnancy means now the animal is pregnant. Next is lactogenesis. So lactogenesis, RRB SO 21 asks a question. Lactogenesis means it is starting of the milk secretion. This will happen immediately after the calving. Next one is galactopiesis. Galactopiesis is continuation of the milk for 305 days. So after calving, for 305 days when cow is producing milk, it is known as galactopiesis. Next one is galactokinesis, milk let down, or you can say milk ejection. During each milking session, when you are using your full hand method, knuckling method, stripping method, or machine milking, milk is coming outside. It is known as galactokinesis. I need a confirmation in the chat section, guys. Type a Y if you are clear about all these terms. And let's talk about the last term, and then we will over this session. Last term is involution. What is the meaning of involution? Involution means when the pregnancy will start. When the pregnancy starts, so there is no growth in the uterus. Because when the pregnancy will start, so that means embryo implantation has been done. Now day by day embryo will increase its size. With the increase in size of embryo, uterus will also increase the size. So day by day that calf which is inside the uterus, or if embryo which is inside the uterus, so embryo size is increasing, at the same time uterus size increasing, and uterus size in increasing. This is why in pregnancy you will say that the stomach of the mother will show you increased size, but that is not stomach. Inside it is uterus which is increasing its size. After 282 days, or after the pregnancy will be over, when the child, kid, calf, or whatever you want to say, it will take birth. Now the calf is outside from the mother body. So guys, tell me, this uterus will decrease the size or this uterus will will remain increase in the size? Sir, uterus will again come back to the same size. So guys, when uterus is coming back to the same size, it is known as involution stage, during which cow's uterus resume its regular size after calving. It is known as involution. Even there is one more meaning of the involution term. Here it is about cow's uterus is resuming the shape, is known as involution. At the same time, in the end of the pregnancy, last 2 to 3 months of pregnancy, when the milk will be stopped, lactation period will be over, dry period starts. So in dry period, you will see in lactation period, the teat's size is comparatively large. In dry period, teat size is comparatively small. So when teat size is decreasing, when animal is approaching to dry period, that condition where teat size is decreasing, that is also known as involution. So teat size is increasing, animal is approaching to dry period, it is involution. And after the birth, when uterus is getting back to the same size or it is decreasing in the shape, it is again known as involution. So this part as well as our second lecture of animal terminology is over. Now in third lecture, we are going to start with estrus cycle, and along with estrus cycle, we will also discuss about breeding system. That's it from my side. You can leave the session, but if you have any doubt, you can ask it right now. I will remain available to answer your doubt because you are about to appear in mains examination. So this stage is very important, and when you appear in the examination, there should be clarity in the mind, not confusion, right? So you should not be confused at this time. So if you have any doubt, you can ask it right now. And if you are clear about all the terms which we have discussed, so write clear in the chat section and leave the session, and I will see you tomorrow. Maybe at the same time or different time, because tomorrow I am leaving for my hometown. So maybe my class time will be changed, or maybe I'll take the class at same time. So class will be there, but timing is not sure. Okay, clear? Okay, done. Can I get the recorded class video, sir? Padam Priya, can you tell me from where you belong? ACC online classes, Sridhar CCE, or Veranda Race? Thank you so much for your compliment, guys. October 2nd is holiday for all classes, of course, yes. Padam Priya is from Veranda Race. I hope so, yes. You will get the recording of the classes, but for that purpose, please contact with your institution only. So they will let you know how you can avail the recording of this session. Can you explain dry period? Definitely, yes. Lactation period means when the cow is giving milk. Cow will give milk for 305 days. After 305 days, now there will be no milk production by the cow. So when there is no milk production, that is known as dry period, which is for 60 to 75 days. And when cow will produce milk, that is known as lactation period. It is for 305 days. Clear? Any other doubt? Thank you so much, guys. Okay. Thank you so much, Shilpa. Okay, that's all. Thank you so much for writing these confirmation as well as compliment. Yeah, this compliment work like a confidence booster for us. So it motivate us to work more and more and work hard for your selection. Okay, I think doubts are over. I cannot see any message. Okay, that's all from my side. I have answered all your doubts. So I'll see you tomorrow in the next class. Till then, take care. Bye bye. Have a great evening. Jai Hind. Jai Bharat.